Alright, welcome back to the podcast, Into the Inferno, where we study old literature and connect it to modern day. Today's guest is Dante himself, all the way from hell. Dante, thanks for joining the show.
Happy to be here. I mean, I didn't expect hell to get its own podcast, but I respect it.
So in Inferno, the seventh circle of hell is where you place the violent. Can you explain that?
So the seventh circle is all about violence. Not all violence looks the same. We know this. So I divide it into 3 rings: violence against others, violence against oneself, and violence against God, nature, and art. So the whole place is basically a wasteland. Fire, blood, and suffering everywhere.
Okay, let's talk about the first ring.
So I'd say the first ring is for people who are violent towards others. Murderers, warlords, tyrants. Their punishment is being submerged in a river of blood. The more blood they spilled in life, the deeper they're stuck in there, so, you know. And if they try to escape, centaurs, half man, half horse, shoot them down, so.
You really do not hold back. Who did you see there?
I mostly saw figures like Alexander the Great and Natalia the Hun, people whose power has caused massive death.
And if we updated this ring for the 21st century, who do you think would end up there?
So based in modern history, I say people like Ted Bundy, Adolf Hitler, Jack the Ripper, Nicholas Godejohn, I don't know if you know him, Osama bin Laden, and Richard Ramirez would fit in here. So I'd say their actions were defined by their extreme violence against others.
Continue with the podcast. Let's hear a quick ad break from Satan himself.
Hey guys, so I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. It's Satan himself, and I just want to let you know that we have a bunch of open rooms in hell, so start sinning or something, and we got this. Yeah, let's go.
I agree. That checks out. All right, now the second ring is very different, and honestly, it's pretty disturbing.
It is. The second ring is for people who've committed violence against themselves, like suicide. Instead of bodies, their souls become twisted trees, and harpies, they live in them, and they tear at their leaves every day. It's meant to reflect how they've rejected their own bodies in life.
And who would appear in this modern version of the second ring?
Historically, I'd see people like Sylvia Plath, Kurt Cobain, Marilyn Monroe, Cleopatra, They're often connected with suicide and all that stuff, so they would appear in this ring.
That ring always feels very heavy. All right, last one, the third ring. What's going on there?
So basically, I'd say the third ring punishes violence against God, nature, and art, That includes blasphemers, sodomists, and, other stuff like that. They're stuck in a massive desert. Just a big desert with burning sand, and hot fire rains down on them constantly from the sky. So it never stops. Never stops. This area is guarded by the Gurgion, a monster that represents moral corruption.
You mentioned someone specific there, right?
Yes, Capanus. Even while being punished, I just want to say he continued to curse God. Continued. Which made his suffering worse, if I'm going to be honest.
Okay, and lastly, who ends up in that ring today?
In a modern interpretation, people like Jeffrey Epstein, Sean Combs, P. Diddy, him, and Brian Peck would appear there due to exploitation, abuse, and actions that cause serious and moral societal harm. So, yeah.
It's crazy how your version of hell still lines up with how we see justice today.
That's because human nature hasn't changed much. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, technology has evolved, names have changed, but violence is still violence, and consequences follow.
All right, that's a perfect place to end it. Dante, thanks for coming on the pod.
Anytime, just hopefully not in person.
All right, everyone, that's today's episode of Into the Inferno. If you like this breakdown, like, comment, and subscribe, and rate my podcast 10 stars on Spotify, please. Thank you.